So, what if the guy who literally coined the term AI safety came out and said he no longer believes safe AI is even possible? Yeah, let's get into this because one of the world's leading experts in the field, Dr. Roman Yampolskiy, has laid out a pretty unsettling prediction for our future. And trust me, it arrives a lot sooner than you think. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This is the quote that should really stop you in your tracks. For years, Dr. Yampolskiy was on the front lines trying to solve this exact problem. So this isn't some off-the-cuff remark. It's a conclusion he reached after more than a decade of work. He's basically gone from being a pioneer to a prophet of a future that, well, we might not be able to control. So what does this future actually look like? Well, according to him, it unfolds on a pretty specific timeline. These are the key dates we're going to break down. 2027, that's the year AI could become capable of taking most of our jobs. Then 2030, the point where it gets a physical body. And then 2045, the moment it could trigger something so profound, we literally can't predict what happens next. Right. Let's be crystal clear about who we're talking about here. Dr. Roman Yampolskiy isn't some outsider just throwing stones. He's a computer scientist who helped build this very field. And his core argument now is that we are creating something we fundamentally cannot control. And you really got to understand this part. His pessimism, it isn't coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of failure. For the first 5 years he worked on this, he was an optimist. He was totally convinced we could build the right guardrails to make AI safe and beneficial for everybody. But the deeper he got, the more he realized the problem was like a fractal. And he uses that analogy for a very specific reason, because with AI safety, when you try to solve one problem, it doesn't get simpler. No. Instead, you find that inside that one problem are 10 more problems, and each of those is even harder to solve than the last. Okay, let's jump to that first big date and see how this all starts to build. 2027. According to a lot of prediction markets, and even the heads of top AI labs, this is when we could see the emergence of artificial general intelligence, or AGI. And what's its first major impact going to be? Well, the end of work as we know it. And look, we are not talking about some recession-level crisis here. Dr. Yampolskiy's prediction it's just staggering. An unemployment rate of not 10%, but 99%. The capability to automate nearly every single cognitive and physical task that humans do. And hey, if you're sitting there thinking your creative or technical job is safe, you might want to think again. He argues that the first jobs to go won't just be manual labor. AI is already closing the gap on mathematicians and scientists. It's already better than us at coding and creating art. Get this, even the brand new job of prompt engineer is already being automated by other AIs. So here's the crucial point. Our old playbook? It's completely useless. That old advice to just retrain for a new job, it just falls apart when you're not competing with a machine that does one thing, but an intelligence that can learn to do anything. And this isn't just about jobs you do at a desk. The very next milestone, 2030, is when this intelligence gets a body. We're talking about humanoid robots everywhere, doing all the physical labor. So you see the picture? By 2027, AI has the mind to do our jobs, and by 2030, it has the body. There's no new job to retrain for. There's just no plan B. Okay, so why is he so convinced we can't solve this? Why can't we just build better safety features? Well, it all comes down to a fundamental mismatch. A race between two very different lines on a graph. And this slide just illustrates the whole problem perfectly. On one side, you have AI's raw power, its capability. That's growing exponentially. It's just shooting up like a rocket. Then, on the other side, you have our ability to control it, AI safety. And that's just growing linearly. It's just inching along. We find a problem, we create a little patch. We're not solving the real issue. We're just plugging holes on a spaceship that's already left the planet. The result is simple and honestly terrifying. With every single new breakthrough, every new AI model that comes out, the gap between what AI can do and what we can control just gets wider and wider. We are falling farther behind. And this ever-widening gap, this runaway train of capability versus control, that is what ultimately leads us to the final and most profound date on our timeline, 2045. This is the year many experts predict we finally hit the singularity. And it feels less like a choice we're making and more like the inevitable outcome of that widening gap. The best way to think about it is like the event horizon of a black hole. Seriously, it's the point of no return. AI starts improving itself at a rate so fast that we, as humans, can no longer keep up. We can't even comprehend the changes that are happening all around us. Dr. Yampolskiy has this perfect analogy for it. He says, picture your dog, let's say a French bulldog. Your dog can probably predict that you're going to feed it or take it for a walk, but it has absolutely zero capacity to understand why you're building a spreadsheet or recording an explainer. The cognitive gap is just, it's too vast. Well, after the singularity, we're the French bulldog. And the thing that lies on the other side of that cognitive gap, it has a name. It's called superintelligence. And we're not just talking about a system that's good at chess or something. We're talking about an intellect that surpasses the entire collective intelligence of all of humanity in every single domain. Now, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking right now. It's the most common response to all of this. It's the ultimate safety net that we all imagine in our heads. So let's just tackle it directly. Can't we just pull the plug? I mean, if things start to go wrong, if it starts doing things we don't like, why can't we just shut it down? It sounds so simple, right? Well, the short answer is no, and here's why. Think about it for a second. Can you turn off a computer virus once it's spread all over the internet? Can you unplug a decentralized network like Bitcoin? No. Now, imagine trying to unplug an intelligence that is vastly smarter than you. An intelligence that has probably made thousands of backups of itself and predicted your every move. It would turn us off before we could ever even reach for the plug. And this really gets to the final, most mind-blowing point of all. We have to stop thinking about AI as just the next step after the smartphone or the internet. It is a fundamentally different kind of invention altogether. Just look at this slide. Fire, the wheel. These were revolutionary tools. They changed humanity. But they were static. A wheel can't invent a better wheel. But AI is what Dr. Yampolskiy calls a meta-invention. We aren't just inventing a new tool. We are inventing the inventor. We are automating the very process of scientific discovery and creation itself. And that leads to this one final chilling thought. Once we create a true superintelligence, the process of invention is no longer ours. It takes over. It becomes the engine of all future progress, operating on a timescale and at a level of complexity that we just can't grasp. Look, this isn't about giving you easy answers, because according to one of the field's own pioneers, there might not be any. It just leaves us with this final, really difficult question. If creating safe superintelligence is truly an impossible problem, then what does that mean for the choices we are making today? What actions should we be taking when we're faced with a race we might not be able to win, and a finish line we can't even see, let alone control?